Will the United States and China's relationship have any further improvements? Or it will continue to be a down spiral deterioration? Let's talk about Antony Blinken's encountering inside China. Hello everyone, welcome to China Insights. I'm Sean Lin. In today's program, we're going to talk about Secretary of State Antony Blinken's recent visit to China. What was the outcome? Will the United States and China's relationship have any further improvements, or it will continue to be a down spiral deterioration? Well, let's do some analysis for these open questions. So first, let's talk about Antony Blinken's encountering inside China. His first stop is not Beijing, but actually Shanghai, where he did not receive red carpet treatment on the airport, and only a director of Foreign Affairs Committee at Shanghai City came to greet him on the airport. Well, this is definitely a downgraded diplomatic treatment for the top diplomat from United States. What's the purpose for this downgraded treatment? Well, this reminded me that during the 19th centuries, in late Qing dynasty, when emperor or empress Cixi want to meet foreign diplomats, they usually ask the diplomats to visit China's some cities in provincial level first, right? You can meet Guangdong or Shanghai, and then better prepared to meet the emperors in Beijing. They want the foreign diplomats to pay respect, to kowtow to the emperor and empress. So this is a long-time strategy, and CCP clearly know it. So that's why they asked Blinken to visit Shanghai first. They asked Secretary of Treasury Janet Yellen to visit Guangdong first on her visit. Okay. So, and the Blinken were actually engaged in some local activities, meeting some foreign students, Chinese students in Shanghai, and eating baozi, which is a bigger dumpling with meat inside, right? These kind of, public levels of, diplomatic engagement with Chinese population. That was also widely covered by the Chinese media, try to show that the US-China had a good relationship. But Xi Jinping did not inform Blinken whether he will meet him or not, and he kept it as a suspense until the last minute. And only when Blinken met with the Minister of the Public Security in China, Wang Xiaohong, did he know that he will have a final chance to meet with Xi Jinping. It happened at the last minute on his last day of visit. So this is another strategy that Xi Jinping used, try to gain some advantage on the negotiation table, because you can keep the opponent, in suspense, let him keep guessing. And when finally he got the opportunity to meet with the top leader of China, he may be very anxious to reach some deal, right? So this is a strategy in the negotiation table. So Xi Jinping used this strategy, try to show he's a top leader. And actually, when he met with Blinken, his seating arrangement also showing that he tried to show his superiority against Blinken. So he's sitting in the middle, and then Blinken's delegation on the right side, and his Chinese subordinate was on the left side. Right? So he right in the center. He himself is the emperor in China. Right? He has all the power in China. So these different strategy basically is Xi Jinping trying to ensure he can gain advantage on the negotiation table. But actually, there were video footage leaked showing that Xi Jinping was actually anxiously, pacing himself inside a hall of the National People's Assembly, and he even asked his subordinate. All the media, domestic and foreign media, arrived, right? So indicating that he was really, really serious about this meeting. But on the surface, he wanted to treat that he is a superior leader. He does not want to reach any compromise with the United States. So eventually, what is the outcome for this visit? There's no joint statement, there's no joint agreement, and there's not even a joint press conference. So only Blinken made a solo performance. He had a unilateral press conference before he left Beijing. And in that press conference, he told the public that he clearly warned Xi Jinping that the United States have already sanctioned more than 100 entities in China. And United States is ready to take further actions if Beijing did not stop support of Russia. Right? It's very clear that China continued to export materials, microelectronics, machinery tools to Russia so that Russia can continue his military invasion in Ukraine. So in the last few months, more and more evidence come out. And so this is clear, the core issue that the United States need to make any progress with the CCP. But it's clear that there's no progress on this front. Xi Jinping did not make any compromise, did not make any agreement with Blinken that he will withdraw any of the export to Russia. And Xi Jinping also did not make any promise regarding any aggressive behavior on the South China Sea against Philippines or on the Taiwan Strait against Taiwan. So on these top national security issue or geopolitical issues, Blinken did not make any progress. And Xi Jinping also did not make any harvest on this, using different strategy, right? Because Blinken clearly using these hawkish words against CCP, make a serious warning. We'll see an ultimatum, I doubt it, but at least it's a clear warning to Xi Jinping. So Beijing did not get any promise to have any additional diplomatic engagements or more trade deals that the Biden administration will leave any sanction or banning of the exports of high technology from the United States. So Xi Jinping did not get any of these great deals. So what he received is only a warning. But will this warning be really having any impacts on China? I'm seriously doubting it. Why? Because first, this was just a repeated message that Xi Jinping received. When Secretary of Treasury Janet Yellen visited Beijing recently, she clearly delivered the same message. And Xi Jinping received the complaints from European leaders on the same issue. Right? Everybody understands now that China exporting machinery tools, microelectronics, materials to Russia, so that Russia can continue to run his war machine. So under this situation, Xi Jinping also understands, even though he's facing all these international pressure, he does not need to make any real concession, any compromise, because United States does not want another war, right? They're already facing Russia-Ukraine war, Middle East conflicts, right? And U.S. military do have the power to have wars in multiple geographical locations, but clearly United States does not want to face this kind of scenario. So Xi Jinping did not slow down any his export to Russia. He did not slow down any aggression on Southeast China Sea or in Taiwan Strait. He did not make any concession on this one. So under this scenario, CCP is clearly understand United States will not take any major actions against China. So what's the maximum tool the United States will use right now? Probably some financial sanctions. So US will sanction more Chinese entities that deal with the trade with Russia, and maybe even take some Chinese bank out of the SWIFT system the US dollar dominates. But will these have any major consequence? CCP can close those banks that are being sanctioned, and then they can set up new banks to deal with financial transactions with Russia or Iran. Right? They can close those banks that are being sanctioned. They can close the companies that are being sanctioned, and they can easily set up other companies that CCP in control. So in these kind of scenarios, Xi Jinping understand the impact of US further sanction will be limited. If he's willing to take the risk, he will continue to do what he wants, right? And the sanction probably will have another impact is that Xi Jinping will be speeding up his action to set up other financial systems to deal with Russia or Iran, right? He's already promoting financial transaction system using renminbi. And he set up the China's cross-border interbank payment system. It's called SIPS. And then Russia have the similar tool. It's called System for Transfer of Financial Messages, SWIFT system. So both Russia and China are already promoting system outside the US dollar system. This is a process of de-dollarization, right? So they are trying to engage India, Brazil into this system, and also Saudi Arabia too, right? So clearly they need to speed up this process. And if more sanction on Chinese bank, they will actually speed up this process. And so Xi Jinping understands the US sanction impact will be limited. And so he will not take any real measures to deal with the sanctions to slow down the impacts. And another reason that Xi Jinping will not give in to any of the warning that Blinken made at this moment is because he clearly understands that the United States foreign policy is focused on one objective, is to stabilize the relationship between US and China. So under these core strategies, Biden administration will not further escalate any trade wars, any conflict with the United States. So you can see that Blinken's delegation also meet with Minister of Public Security in China, Wang Xiaohong, to talk about further setting up new mechanism to deal with the fentanyl issue, right? Anti-narcotic issues. But these are long-time issues, and US-China have joint working groups on anti-narcotic issue for a long time, and China continued to broke all the promise. China did not punish any of the criminals making like a chemical production of the phenols or its derivatives. And now they already changed strategy, right? They can make a precursor of the phenols and then sell it to Mexico's, right? And actually China is actually the laundry machine for all these monies dealing with drugs. So under this kind of scenario, do you really believe that China will have any serious punishment against those chemical factories producing precursor of phenols? China's in a legal system even does not have any justification to punish those owners of chemical factories if they produce some analog similar to phenols, but they are not exactly on the sanction list or on the banning list, right? So I don't think CCP will take any real actions to help ease any of the crisis regarding phenols pouring into the United States. So this is basically a showcase saying the United States and China will work together on anti-narcotic issue and will try to save American people's life. But I don't think that CCP care about American people's life. So another thing that Secretary Blinken brought up in his visit to China is about having a collaboration mechanism to deal with the artificial intelligence development regarding its risk and safety issues. Well, is this a joke? Right? Because CCP already mobilized all the national resource try to support artificial intelligence development. How much money they pour into military to develop their AI, supporting the robots, enhance the human performance, enhance soldier performance, and also how much AI development they have already infused in the surveillance systems, in the APP algorithm monitoring of the Chinese people's activities. How much progress they already made in artificial intelligence. And do you think CCP cared about the risk? Do they care about the safety? Do they care about Chinese people's privacy? No. So these kind of joint collaboration is like usually this declaration in the two countries' relationship, it may be something like the joint collaboration on anti-narcotic war, right? CCP can promise many things, but on behind, they don't care. So that's why I think Xi Jinping very, very clearly understand that the Biden administration main objective for these two countries' relationship is to stabilize it. They don't want any further escalation of trade war. So Xi Jinping understands Biden administration can use some hawkish words, but at the same time, they need to do a delicate dance between this hawkish word versus benefit in further trade relationship, trade deals with China. So Xi Jinping can take advantage of this kind of situation, right? So he can make strong statement. He can blame Biden not honoring his words. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs in China, Wang Yi, also makes serious blame. And he talk about that the two countries need to manage their difference responsibly. But what does that mean? United States and China only have differences? Well, yeah, it is difference. It's in the political system difference. It's a universal value difference, right? The two countries' value system is totally different. So Blinken did mention that he raised about human rights issue in China, but does CCP care? Right? The Chinese have a saying, if you have too much fleas and ticks on your body, they're no longer itching. So CCP doesn't care because they already wage total wars against all religions, whether it's Buddhism, Tibetans, Christians, Falun Gongs, right? They cracked on all these religious groups. It doesn't care at this moment. You need to have strong punish measures against CCP. And also, the United States need to clearly understand, decoupling China, these concepts may sound dangerous, but actually what United States need to emphasize is to decoupling CCP. So basically United States need to differentiate what is China, what is Chinese government versus what is Chinese people. CCP does not represent Chinese people. This message need to be repeatedly emphasized, broadcast, amplified, so that this message can come across and many Chinese people can receive this message. So if you're just doing delicate dance, if you only think about managing difference, you are falling into the trap of CCP's propaganda machine. So, you can talk to a vampire. A normal human being can talk to a vampire, say, I understand the difference. I respect the difference. A vampire wants blood. A normal human being only wants vegetables and cooked meat. These difference we understand. But if you only talk about you understand the difference, will it slow down any desire of a vampire to suck the blood out of you? No, it will not. Vampire is still a vampire, right? So these narratives of managing difference responsibly is a trick that the CCP play. This is their narrative. It's kind of like in the past, they talk about China rising, right? China will obey international laws, but see how much rules they violated after they joined the WTO. So if the foreign diplomats, from CCP keep using these words, you need to have a alarm saying this is their narrative. I cannot adopt their doctrines, right? So that's why I think the U.S. foreign diplomacies need to have some fundamental adjustments. What's their objective? And also what are the tools they can use seriously? All right, this is my analysis about this outcome of Blinken's recent visit to China. You can say probably either side only talk about their own words. There's no middle ground. There's no real results. It's a visit in vain. No real result, no real outcome. But I think one fundamental benefit from this visit is that the whole world sees the United States does not have any real trust on the CCP and probably no trust for either party, right? The CCP did not even give the statements in writing prior to any of these meetings. And so no red carpet treatment for the US, and US do not trust CCP's any promise. So this clearly shows to the world the relationship of the United States and China will not have any chance for further improvement. So before I end today's program, I also want to appreciate our audience response to the survey I did last time. I see many people choose B. So basically you think the Biden administration will release only part of the report from the intelligence community regarding the whales the CCP's top echelon officers hide outside China. Okay? So I actually think many people have very realistic estimation about the outcome. So thank you for engaging your thoughts with us. And I also see audience ask a very good question regarding, will China use their huge owning of the United States bombs against the United States? Can they, totally sell so many US bonds and then triggering the financial crisis for the United States? I think my observation is that we cannot think that the US bonds that China owns is kind of like a United States owing money to China, and China is actually lending money to the United States. I don't think we can view it this way, because the US bond is actually an investment tool. The reason that China owns so much US bonds, because US bond still is the safest investment channels, investment choice for Chinese government. That's why they chose so many US bonds, right? So they have tried to buy Japanese bonds, Australia bonds, but eventually after evaluation, they still think the US bond is still of the best value. So they cannot casually sell a large amount of US bonds, because what else can they put the money? What else can they bring more profits to the Chinese government, right? So if they sell it, if the bonds market crashed, China will lose more. So that's why I don't think it's a good strategy that China will adopt to dump US bonds, try to have a negative impact on US economy. I don't think CCP view it this way. And for our general public, we need to understand the bond is an investment tool. It's not a money that China lended to the United States. All right, thank you for today's program. This is Sean Lin. We'll see you next time.